So I've just released another chapter of How to Get Your Shit Together called Guard Your Mental State at All Costs. The basic premise is that unless you protect your mental state, you won't be in a place to best serve yourself or serve others. If you're not functional, you'll be just in a bad place. So the idea is that you should guard your mental state. But what does that involve? The first thing that I mentioned in the chapter, and the chapter's in a link below, is that you need to work out what improves or detracts from your mental state. So when I was starting this, I wrote down a journal and I put down everything in one column that made me feel better and everything in another column that made me feel worse. And then at the end of the month, I looked over it and just I could get a gauge of what moved my mental state. The idea being is that in the moment, it might be hard to tell, but when you step back and look at what you've written down, you can clearly see this person, this thing, this event, this style, this food, whatever, this impacted me positively or negatively, and you can make changes accordingly. If you want to guard your mental state, you need to ensure that the people around you are not toxic. If you find yourself working with or in a relationship with or connected to in some way someone that is toxic, and by toxic I mean someone that is detrimentally impacting your mental state excessively, it might be worth considering cutting that person from your life. And I don't mean like burn the bridges and never see them again. I just mean slowly, calmly step back and just lessen your involvement with that person. You know, they may change, you may need each other, whatever. So don't burn those bridges, but just take a step back. There's always things you can do to limit someone's, impact upon your relationship. Some people, yes, you need to cut hard, but other people, slow step back, don't burn those bridges. Because unless you monitor and put the people around you that build you up and bring you up, you're at the whim of just general people around you. Guard your mental state and choose the people that you want to associate with. Another way to guard your mental state is to start prioritizing your mental health over money. If you find that your job is making you feel physically or mentally sick, if you find that you just can't keep up with it, it might be worth considering changing. Now, yes, this will come at a cost to money. Of course it will. But what's the point of having money if you're not in a good place to enjoy it? There's a staggering amount of work-related mental health concerns leading in some cases to suicide. It's just not worth it. You need to be good here in order to enjoy the rewards of that money. Now, yes, people will come back and say, I need the work, I need the money, I need to do this sort of stuff. You will find that there are ways that you can cut costs. And I'm speaking from experience. I quit full-time work to go into part-time casual work. My income halved, but my mental state doubled. Yes, I had to cut back on luxuries, but I'm actually happier for it. You can do it. Always be willing to change plans if your mental state changes accordingly. So I'm an introvert, but I do like doing extroverted things. However, if my mental state detracts, I can't handle that. So if I've made plans and I can no longer deal with those plans, I'm more than happy to change it to guard my mental state. And the reason is simple. I know that if I was to push through, and in the past when I have pushed through, it's cost me. It's cost me more than just that experience. It's cost me the next few hours, days, or even weeks trying to battle to get back my mental state from whatever mental conditions that I happen to have been dealing with at the time. I strongly suggest that, make the plans, do the things you love, but if something changes here, be willing to explain yourself and change. The people in your life should understand. If you're talking to them and saying, hey, I'm not in the right mental state, most of the time, most people will say, yeah, that's cool. And in my experience, most workplaces will as well. Just express yourself, change the plans if you need to, and guard your mental state at all costs. Those are some of the tips from Guard Your Mental State. This is a chapter of my next book, How to Get Your Shit Together. I've released it as a paperback, ebook, and audiobook, and the link's down below to this chapter so you can check it out and grab yourself a copy if you want to support what I'm doing here. As always, I'm going to be releasing everything I do for free online. The reason's simple. Basically, information that helps people in this fashion, I believe should be free. And, this is the book that I wish existed when I was growing up. And back then, I wouldn't have been able to afford a book, right? So I wanted to be able to provide this information for free. But if you enjoy it, if you want to read the whole thing now, you can. If not, check out the link and just read them as they come. If you sign up for my email list, you'll be able to get every chapter delivered to your inbox along with all of the blogs, podcasts, and the special things that I'm doing on my channel. So check the link out, grab yourself a copy if you like, and just share this widely. If you know someone that will appreciate what I'm doing here, link them to me, send them my way, or send this, whatever I'm doing to them. Catch ya.